Delicate push to get a ceasefire agreement in the Middle East over the finish line.
We made it. We've survived. It's time to say this is the end.
The Israeli cabinet is expected to ratify the plan tomorrow, and the truce would take effect on Sunday, including a withdrawal of some Israeli forces from Gaza, making way for desperately needed aid and the release of some hostages. What could potentially hold up the final green light? Plus, firefighters on the front lines race to contain the deadly and destructive wildfires around Los Angeles before those dangerous Santa Ana winds return. And for the tens of thousands suddenly without a home, finding a long-term place to stay has sparked a real estate frenzy and reports of potential price gouging.
So you're compiling all of these properties to then report to the authorities?
So we already have 40 plus, probably 50 plus volunteers now who are actively reporting 2311 at this moment.
And visionary filmmaker and creator of cult classics, we remember the legacy of David Lynch, director of Blue Velvet, Mulholland Drive, and Twin Peaks. Good evening, everyone. I'm Linsey Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We begin tonight with the last-minute negotiations over that fragile Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal, with the fate of the hostages and food to feed 1 million Gazans now hanging in the balance, and the strong emotion on both sides. In Gaza, people like 22-year-old Tala, who we've followed for 15 months here at ABC News Live, is happy and hopeful for the first time in a long time. But today, Israeli strikes persisted. More than 80 Palestinians were reportedly killed. And in Israel, those hostage families are tentatively optimistic after this long and incredibly painful ordeal. Those families are demanding that their government go ahead and seal the deal. At the State Department today, Secretary of State Antony Blinken is insisting this deal will go through. We're standing by to hear from a hostage family and the head of the World Food Program in Gaza. But first, our chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell leads us off from Tel Aviv.
Tonight, the U.S. insisting the fragile ceasefire hostage deal will start as planned on Sunday, despite intense infighting inside the Israeli government.
After more than 400 days of struggle, a day of success has arrived.
After a tense day of last-minute negotiations, the Israeli cabinet expected to vote on the deal as soon as tomorrow. Inside Gaza, the bombing hasn't stopped. More than 80 Palestinians killed in Israeli strikes since the deal was announced, according to the Gaza Health Ministry. The Biden administration criticized by some for its support of Israel's war. At the State Department today, a rare moment of protest.
Get your hands off me! Get your hands off me!
As outgoing Secretary of State Antony Blinken was thanking the press. Security dragging an independent reporter and activist out of the briefing room.
Criminal! Why aren't you in the Hague? Why aren't you in the Hague?
The anger also coming from families of Israeli hostages.
Every night for 467 days, people have come here to protest against the Netanyahu government. Tonight, the chance is very simple. Bring them home and sign the deal.
Phase 1 of the agreement will see the release of 33 hostages, including Americans Sagi Dekelchen and Keith Siegel, in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. Keith and his wife Aviva kidnapped by Hamas on October 7th. Aviva was freed more than a year ago. Now Keith's brother Lee anxiously awaiting his return.
I can't allow myself to raise expectations until I'm giving Keith a hug.
For many Gazans, like Tala Imad Herdzala, hope.
After a year and 3 months of pain, of suffering, of death and blood, it's time to say this is the end.
So many are hopeful that this is the end, or at least close to it. Our chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell joins us now. Ian, what's behind this delay inside the Israeli government to ratify the deal?
Yeah, I mean, Israel today accusing Hamas of reneging on parts of the agreement. For their part, Hamas insisting that nothing's changed. But we have to be aware there's also plenty of politics at play here. Netanyahu trying to keep his coalition together. There are certainly members of the hard right who are opposed to this ceasefire deal. They're trying to insert new conditions as well. But we do believe that a vote should take place, if not tomorrow, then maybe on Saturday. And tonight, the hostage family is issuing a statement accusing the government of unnecessary delays, calling for all hostages to be returned as a matter of urgency. But just to reiterate, the White House is confident that these differences between the two sides sides are small, and that the ceasefire and hostage release can actually still come into place on Sunday. Linsey?
All right, so many anticipating that. Ian, panel, our thanks to you. Our next guest is acutely aware of what is at stake in this ceasefire. That is Adi Alexander. His son, Israeli-American Adon Alexander, was serving on the IDF on October 7th when he was taken hostage. Adon's parents have been vocal advocates for getting hostages returned to their loved ones. Adi Alexander, thank you so much for joining us, especially during this difficult time. With all that you have endured over the last 15 grueling months, how are you feeling now that a hostage deal is finally on the horizon?
A little bit more optimistic. We've been so close before, even back in January of the last year, and then again in April, again in August. But right now it feels real. Finally, the parties managed to push it over the finish line, and we're actually grateful.
I can imagine every twist and turn of this ceasefire deal's negotiation can feel a bit like a gut punch. How confident are you that this deal will hold?
We're pretty confident. President Trump stated publicly and privately he doesn't want this war landing on his plate on January 20th. It was enough, and really enough is enough. And we felt like Trump effect was in effect. And using this deadline, January 20th, it was a good thing. And thankfully, all parties pushed forward. And here we are, just about for this deal to begin.
Do you credit President-elect Donald Trump for finally getting this deal accomplished?
Yeah, absolutely. And we are happy that both administrations worked with collaboration. All the negotiating teams, the old one and the new one, work together, and we can see actually the final result of that.
In November, Hamas released a heavily edited propaganda video filmed under duress, marking the first time that your family was able to see your son in more than 400 days. What was your reaction seeing that video?
We embraced it. I mean, it was the first sign of life for us. We didn't see our son for more than a year. Other released hostages saw him in the tunnels of Gaza back in November of 2023, and even on the first day, on October 7 of the 2023. But for us, it was the first time, and we accepted. And we're happy that this video was released.
This is obviously an extremely dark chapter in your son's life. If you were able to get a message out to him right now, what would you say?
Just remain strong. Is such a tough kid. Stay strong, survive, and soon, really soon, you will be out.
What's the first thing you hope to do when you see him again?
Just, hug him. And ask him so many questions, but hopefully he will say back to us, you know what, guys, that wasn't so bad. I'm okay.
We all hope the same as well. Adi Alexander, we will continue to wish for your son's safe return. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
The death toll in Gaza since October 7th now stands at 46,788, according to the Gaza Ministry of Health. Such a staggering number, it is difficult to comprehend the loss. Among them, a newborn baby. Sabrine was delivered from her mother's womb after her mother was killed in an airstrike. Ahmad Abu Taima played for the Palestinian national soccer team. He was killed in an Israeli airstrike as well. Journalist Iman Al-Shanti was killed alongside her husband and 3 of her children in a strike on a residential building. Hind Rajab was just 5 years old when she was killed alongside her 6 family members while trapped inside a vehicle in Gaza City. Her haunting emergency call received international attention. And the need for food is so great inside of Gaza. The UN has warned multiple times about famine. Joining us now for the latest on the situation inside of Gaza, Director of the World Food Program there, Antoine Renard. Antoine, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. I understand that you are there inside of Gaza. Can you just give us a sense of the reaction when word came yesterday that this ceasefire deal had been agreed upon?
I mean, yesterday I was directly with the staff of the World Food Program, and there was a profound sense of relief and hope. And today I spend most of my day actually directly having and meeting some of the families that we're supporting. I was with Naima. She's 70 years old, and actually she's coming from the north of Gaza in Bet Laia. And currently she's being displaced more than 8 times. And the first word that she had to me when we were discussing was, I would like to go back to my land. She wants to go back to her agricultural land. She has 150 dunams. She's ready to restart. That was her hope.
Give us a sense. We hear from, the UN just how bad things are. You're seeing it firsthand, how great the need is to get this aid into Gaza.
It is so dire. I just look at the month of December. We were supposed to provide to people 30,000 metric tons of food. When I say it like that, it seems like volume, but it's about providing bread to people. It's about providing a basic hot meal once per day. It's about making sure that they have proper food parcels. And sadly, in the month of December, we could barely cover half of the requirements, and we had to cut ration to make sure that we could sustain the basic assistance out there. And the challenge we have is that every week we believe that we are running out of food.
I understand that at this point your organization has food waiting outside of Gaza that could feed 1 million people. How soon do you believe that you're going to be able to get that inside Gaza?
We are, and we have all the logistical capacity. Being the World Food Program or being UNRWA, we have all it takes actually to provide the proper food assistance to the population, being in the north of Gaza or south and central. We have food in Egypt, we have in Ashdod, we have also in Amman. The readiness for us is really to provide a proper scale. We've got 2.2 million people that are relying on us, and we also hope that the commercial flow will also restart in the Gaza Strip.
If this ceasefire holds, will food shipments be able to get into Gaza without any holdups on a day-to-day basis?
I mean, what we've all been asking for now, 15 months into this conflict, is the fact that we have crossings that are reliable, open, and we need to ensure also that the law and order are actually making sure that even within Gaza, we are in capacity to reach the population that we have to serve. So for us, what we hope is really the fact that we have a proper moment where we can have population to breathe and ensure that they can envision a better future.
You mentioned that 15-month period. There have been people on both sides who have been asking for a ceasefire deal. Who or what do you credit most with finally getting this across the line?
I mean, for us, it's really long overdue. And whatever it takes, what we need to make sure is that the civilian population in Gaza have the assistance that they deserve. And beyond a food handout, they should actually go back to proper, food system, restarting and recovery. This is not just today that we need to support them. It's also to think of what will be the future in terms of rebuilding.
On a personal level, what does this deal mean for you and your organization?
I mean, for many of us, it's a sense of relief and hope, as I said. It's so many months that we've all been working so hard to make sure that we can sustain. So for us, it's really that light where we can actually have the scale and show that all the work and the hard work that we've been doing is actually serving those that really deserve to have a break related to what have been a very intense conflict.
All right, well, we are certainly hoping that everybody gets the relief that they so desperately need. Antoine, we thank you so much for your time.
Thanks to you, Linsey.
The race is on to contain those deadly and destructive wildfires in Southern California before dangerous wind returns next week. New aerial images show the destruction more than a week after the Palisades fire began. And now a new risk from the water used to douse the flames A home that survived the fires was badly destroyed today by a landslide. ABC's chief national correspondent Matt Gutman joins us from the waters off the Pacific Coast Highway.
Tonight across Southern California, a brief break in the fire conditions that have plagued the region for more than a week now, giving battered firefighters and communities a chance to catch their breath. But now a new danger looming. This home in Pacific Palisades survived the fires last week, only to be crushed by a landslide this morning.
If you look right above it, you're going to see a lot of smoldering debris and things that have burned.
Stuff is like quicksand.
At the Eaton fire, we saw how the flames had baked hard-packed earth into sand. The flames have burned so much vegetation, they're now preparing for near certain mudslides when the rains finally come. And today, officials reopening some of the areas of the Palisades fire for residents, but said it could be more than a week before all the areas are deemed safe for families to return to survey what's left of their homes.
You got to understand, if you haven't been out there, it literally looks like a bomb dropped.
Some have made it back. In the rubble of our Altadena home, we hear Linda Zhang
Nico, if I can even find his tag.
calling for her lost cat.
It's the first time I'm seeing everything is gone. That's my new washer and dryer that I just bought.
Linda staying at an Airbnb for now, but struggling to find her next home.
I already got rejected.
Unsure of what comes next, but grateful for the city's generosity.
So is everything you're wearing donated?
Yes, everything I'm wearing except my phone is donated.
Down to the purse and the shoes?
Down to the purse and the shoes, yeah, everything.
And while so many have lost so much, many here are also celebrating those first responders. Bruce Willis's wife, Emma Hemming, posting this video of Bruce shaking hands and thanking LA police officers, a rare public appearance for the Hollywood icon since his dementia diagnosis. Linsey, we have just learned that multiple mandatory evacuation orders have been lifted. So as people begin to go back to their homes, they're going to find many neighborhoods like this, and there's concern that some of these communities will never look the same because of environmental concerns, because in areas specific on the coast here of erosion, and that the fabric of these communities will be forever changed. Now, earlier we mentioned that conditions in terms of weather are improving. They are, and they will continue to improve through the weekend. But state forecasters are predicting a parade of Santa Ana wind events. That's the kind of wind that can create those terrible and extreme fire conditions. And the first two of those Santa Ana wind events are forecast for next week. Linsey.
Hopefully in the coming days, they'll be able to tamp down those flames. Matt, our thanks to you. On Capitol Hill, President-elect Trump's pick to oversee America's economy, billionaire Scott Bessent, was pressed by senators about the president-elect's plan to boost the economy with tax cuts and tariffs. Our senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott reports from the Hill.
Tonight, the man President-elect Donald Trump has chosen to guide the American economy and tackle inflation, taking center stage on Capitol Hill. Treasury Secretary nominee Scott Bessent, a billionaire investor and hedge fund manager.
Today, I believe that President Trump has a generational opportunity to unleash a new economic golden age that will create more jobs, wealth, and prosperity for all Americans.
Republican senators asking Bessent to outline the stakes if Congress fails to achieve one of Trump's top priorities, extending his signature 2017 tax cuts.
If we do not renew and extend, then we will be facing an economic calamity.
Democrats pushing back, insisting the Trump tax cuts have only benefited the rich.
Now these wealthy people have more money than they know what to do with, and it is certainly not doing anything to lower prices for working families.
I believe that President Trump, and if confirmed myself, are committed to addressing this affordability crisis. And part of the affordability crisis stems from this great inflation that we've had.
Also facing questions today, Trump's picks for two key environmental roles. For Secretary of the Interior, former North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, and for EPA Administrator, former New York Congressman Lee Zeldin. Democrats pressing both nominees about Trump's pledge to roll back environmental regulations.
Do you agree with President-elect Trump that climate change is a hoax?
I believe that climate change is real, as I told you. As far as President Trump goes, the context that I've heard him speak about it was with a criticism of policies that have been acted because of climate change, and I think that he's concerned about the economic costs of some policies where there's a debate.
Republicans insist these nominees strike a balance between protecting the environment and the economy.
Congressman Zeldin will correct the course of the EPA.
Rachel Scott joins us now from Capitol Hill. Rachel, Donald Trump named special ambassadors to Hollywood today. Why and who are they?
Yeah, this is an unconventional announcement from President-elect Donald Trump. And so these special ambassadors do include some Hollywood stars that you may recognize: Jon Voight, Mel Gibson, and Sylvester Stallone. I want to read you what the president-elect said in a Truth Social post. He said they will serve as special envoys to me for the purpose of bringing Hollywood, which he says has launched much business over the last 4 years, to foreign countries, to bring it back bigger, stronger than ever before. But as I mentioned, Lindsay, certainly an unconventional position for these stars.
Right, unusual indeed. And also, speaking of unusual, Trump's official White House portrait was released today. Certainly not your traditional portrait.
It is not your traditional White House portrait, and if you're taking a look at it, you could see why. You might notice something very familiar: the president-elect making sort of the same face he made when his mugshot was taken. Of course, many people drawing attention to this. It's unclear why the president-elect wanted to make this face, but I will tell you, Lindsay, look, I covered President-elect Donald Trump's campaign. Defiance was a major theme from the campaign now to the White House.
All right, we're seeing that through line for sure. Rachel Scott from Capitol Hill. Thanks so much, Rachel. The federal law banning TikTok is set to take effect Sunday unless the Supreme Court steps in before then. The Chinese-owned company ByteDance argues the ban unconstitutionally limits free speech. But just today, the Biden administration said it has no plans to take action forcing the app to go dark on Sunday. Washington correspondent Elizabeth Schulze joins us now to discuss how this has become a giant headache for the 100 million Americans who currently use TikTok. Elizabeth, what rationale did the White House give for standing down?
Well, Lindsay, what the White House is telling us, it is essentially going to be up to the next administration, the Trump administration, to implement this law. In other words, don't expect any enforcement action from the Biden administration on Sunday when this law takes effect that would make the app go dark for users. But that does not mean that the app will stay available, because there is the possibility, Lindsay, that TikTok could just decide to shut it down. It could try to send a message to say, look, this is what the ban could do. So when users try to log in, they might see a prompt there from TikTok saying, nope, this is banned. Sorry. If TikTok doesn't do that, the app would more slowly degrade over time, because app stores aren't supposed to offer updates for it, and you're not supposed to be able to use it from internet hosting services. In other words, it probably could work in some ways on Sunday, but it might not work as effectively, and ultimately it would be banned over time if this law does still stay in effect.
But explain how this will work, Elizabeth, because it seems a bit ironic that we have two other Chinese-owned social media apps, Red Note and Lemonade, who are currently the top downloads on the App Store. Also, TikTok's CEO was invited to sit front and center at President-elect Trump's inauguration.
Right, and those two alternatives to TikTok, this in some ways, Lindsay, is an act of defiance from users, saying they don't really care if TikTok is owned by a Chinese parent company. They're not too worried about those national security concerns that have been raised by bipartisan members of Congress, by the president, and by the Justice Department. So what those apps are doing right now is gaining popularity, but they could face a similar fate as TikTok down the line. When you think about the evolution of President-elect Trump here, it is really striking. He supported a ban in 2020. Now he says he wants to save TikTok. He says it helps him get elected. He's met with TikTok investors, and he has invited the CEO of TikTok to sit at a front row seat at inauguration, right next to some other big CEOs like Apple's Tim Cook, Meta's Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Google. This is CEO of Amazon. Lindsay, this is really a testament to show how Trump wants to keep those big tech companies close, in contrast to how the Biden administration has taken a tougher stance on regulation.
Yeah, expecting a lot of those tech giants to be present on the mall come inauguration on Monday. Elizabeth Schulze, we'll see how this all plays out. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Lindsay.
An enigmatic director with a dark and surreal style all his own. Tonight, we remember iconic filmmaker David Lynch, who we learned passed away. Here's World News Tonight anchor David Muir.
So many of his peers considered him a visionary. Filmmaker David Lynch, born in 1946 in Missoula, Montana, nominated for 4 Academy Awards.
I can't believe it.
Mulholland Drive in 2001, what many considered his best film, exploring Hollywood's dark side. His first feature film, Eraserhead, a cult classic, The Elephant Man in 1980.
I am not an animal!
Blue Velvet in 1986. And it wasn't only film. Lynch was known for his groundbreaking TV series, Twin Peaks, right here on ABC in the early 90s. Last year, opening up about his emphysema diagnosis, David Lynch passing away just shy of his 79th birthday. His family tonight writing there's a big hole in the world now that he's no longer with us. But as he would say, keep your eye on the donut and not on the hole. Tonight, actor Kyle MacLachlan posting too, saying Lynch had a creative ocean bursting forth inside of him and was the most authentically alive person I'd ever met.
Our thanks to David for that. Still to come, the brazen carjacking caught on camera in Kansas City. But next, the search for a place to call home. Wildfire victims in Los Angeles face spiking housing costs. Some try to take advantage of the displaced in their hour of need.
Donald Trump, historic, taking the oath of office for the second time. Inauguration Day, America turns to ABC News, starting with a special Good Morning America. Then live all across the day, David Muir, right there as history is made, Monday on ABC.
For the record, your name is Xavier Collins.
Yes.
You have 2 children.
Yes.
When was the last time you saw Cal Bradford alive?
Agent Collins, have a seat. I walked the president to his room at 2204.
When did you discover the body?
At 8:01, that's when I found him lying next to his bed.
Did you kill him?
No.
Is a part of you happy that Cal is dead?
This family is suffocated. We are all here to help them. We're going to make this happen. We have 96 hours to build a house.
Come on, guys, it's moving day. Let's go. It can't be real.
This was more than just extreme home makeover. This was extreme life makeover.
Extreme Makeover Home Edition, Thursday on ABC and stream on Hulu.
I'm 110% ready to fall in love.
Tall, handsome, smart. He's perfect. Time just stood still.
It's kind of already sinking in that these other girls are dating my boyfriend.
Everybody just really wants Grant, and we're all fighting for his love.
You act like you don't care.
He knows how I feel.
I know I'm in trouble.
Everyone's so mean.
I did not know how hard this was going to be.
What don't you know about the man
Rex Heuermann was living a very compartmentalized double life.
accused of being
The monster. It's like 2 different people. Jekyll and Hyde is a real monster.
He's pleaded not guilty to all the charges.
the Gilgo Beach murders? Now, one woman who believes she got away and lived to tell.
He scared the crap out of me, and nobody's ever made me scared or uncomfortable like that.
Gilgo Beach murders, now streaming on Hulu.
I only have one rule. Stay out of the basement.
What do you got in the basement?
I can't talk about it quite yet.
There's something down there that will destroy the world.
We're talking about a monster, a real monster.
You are in danger. Kids are disappearing.
The world is on the brink of war. We need Captain America. On my mark.
You want me? Come and get me!
Get tickets now.
Welcome back, everyone. For the thousands in Los Angeles suddenly without a home, it is a slow process to figure out what comes next. But one thing that's proving difficult for many is finding a place to rent. California's Attorney General has announced active investigations against price gouging, and officials across the board say they will find and prosecute anyone trying to take advantage of the tragedy. In tonight's Prime Focus, our Jacqueline Lee has more on the struggle to find housing and those trying to put a stop to price gouging.
A war zone, ferocious, apocalyptic. These, just some of the words used to describe the utter destruction left behind in Southern California. But the devastation goes beyond what the naked eye can see. It's the emotional toll buried in these smoldering ashes.
This photo. That's your street.
Yeah, that's our house. That was our house.
A lifetime of memories gone.
Embers coming off.
Tens of thousands of evacuees now suddenly without a home, desperate for shelter, sparking a real estate frenzy.
I've spent $8,000 already on Airbnbs.
Oh, wow. Longtime Altadena resident Erica Lee, along with her husband and 7-year-old son, lost their home in the devastating Eaton fire.
It's been terrible. We've been bouncing from Airbnb to Airbnb, and we're looking for a place to rent, but everyone else is too.
We met them as they were touring homes for rent. How many listings have you lost out on?
At least 5.
5?
At least.
What happened?
They just say that they're already taken, or the one that changed the rent on us last minute, we couldn't afford that anymore.
And just like thousands of others, they desperately need a single-family home as they sort through insurance. So you have a child, you have pets, you have your mother, you have your husband, and you need space.
Yeah, because now we're all going to be living together. And insurance isn't going to give us enough money to cover a house like we had. Some of them are good, but everything's at least $6,000 or more. And insurance hasn't told us yet how much we could spend, so we're just kind of guessing at this point.
Los Angeles is already one of the most expensive places in the country to rent a home. And some residents are now willing to pay even more to get a roof over their heads. What is the craziest thing people are willing to offer?
We've seen people offer double the rent, tens of thousands of dollars over. We've seen them to pay for landscaping.
I'm announcing that DOJ has opened multiple active investigations into price gouging reports, and we will prosecute any crimes we find.
Chelsea Kirk is monitoring all of this. She's the director of policy and advocacy for a tenants' rights organization that is tracking rental increases. She shared this spreadsheet with ABC News. It is one of several that residents are using to report potential price gouging. She took us to Beverly Hills, an area she says is seeing some of the steepest increases. Are you seeing a surge of new listings that have never been listed before?
Yes, I am, and that's concerning. I have this theory that a bunch of Airbnbs are suddenly available and on the market and taking advantage of this moment.
Under California law, during an emergency, people or businesses are only allowed to increase prices charged for housing by up to 10%. Anything above that is illegal. So you're compiling all of these properties to then report to the authorities?
So we already have 40 plus, probably 50 plus volunteers now who are actively reporting to 311 at this moment.
An analysis of data obtained by ABC News shows nearly 400 listings with prices that appear to have spiked after the fires. What made you want to start tracking it?
A couple days after the fires broke out, when it was kind of becoming clear what the level of devastation was in terms of, number of people displaced, number of homes lost, one of my first thoughts was the rent's going to go up, and I bet it already is.
A spokesperson for Zillow telling ABC News they've already removed hundreds of listings that had price increases above the 10% allowed during a state of emergency. The real estate company Redfin, however, tells ABC News they have not removed any listings as of yet. The company that runs homesandapartments.com says there are reports of bad actors, and they are actively evaluating the impact the wildfires have had on their listings. The LA District Attorney pulling no punches.
Your name will get out there. Your company's name will get out there. You will be publicly shamed.
What would be the allure for a landlord to want to price gouge?
In certain situations, there's a very well-qualified tenant pool that is willing to pay an exorbitant amount to secure their family a home.
So this is like a cash grab for many landlords?
For some, it is, and it's unfortunate.
But some landlords, like Julie Sue,
okay, this is a very open style kitchen,
are just trying to do the right thing.
This is just within yesterday, every 5 minutes.
She listed her Highland Park home for rent right before the fires.
It's an open style closet over here.
For $5,500 a month plus utilities.
I would say hundreds of applications on a daily basis.
On a daily basis?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and it's very hard for me to process all of that because you could see the need in their text.
Sue says prospective tenants are essentially getting into bidding wars, offering to pay her a year's worth of rent up front.
They were saying, I could give you 1 year contract.
1 year up front?
Up front, yes.
What criteria are you going to look for to pick the one person to live here or the one family? How do you judge who has the more devastating story?
It's just very hard for me to process or give you an answer to that. But I see it when I see the devastation.
As for Erica and her family, she says thousands of others have had an uncertain future ahead.
Do you guys plan on rebuilding? I wanted to, but insurance isn't going to give us enough, so we might rebuild and sell, or we might sell the land. There are a lot of people out there trying to take advantage of people right now, and so I'm just trying to talk to people I trust.
What is your biggest fear?
That we're going to have to move out of the area, and my son may never see his school or friends again.
So much loss beyond the homes. Our thanks to Jacqueline Lee for that. Still much more to get to. Coming up, the dramatic moments caught on camera when an officer and medic jumped into action to save a baby. But next, we go by the numbers to talk about the concerning new statistics about cancer.
I'm 110% ready to fall in love.
Tall, handsome, smart. He's perfect. Time just stood still.
It's kind of already sinking in that these other girls are dating my boyfriend.
Everybody just really wants Grant, and we're all fighting for his love.
You act like you don't care.
He knows how I feel.
I know I'm in trouble.
Everyone's so mean.
I did not know how hard this was going to be.
The news never stops.
From Tampa, we are here tonight as Hurricane Milton has just made landfall.
The surge just keeps coming up.
Right on the border between Ukraine and Russia.
We're in artillery position about 2 miles away from Gaza.
And ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
We're not far from where this rally took place, so just stick with us here.
Traveling with the president to the U.S.-Mexico border.
Here in London today.
Off the coast of Gaza.
Downtown Tel Aviv, rockets or missiles coming in.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii. Some areas are still smoldering.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines, the ruins of Rafah.
From the FBI. Reporting from Capitol Hill.
In western Portugal.
Outside of Mexico City.
In Iceland. Let's go.
Here in France.
The eclipse across America.
Just stunning.
Unbelievable.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there.
You're streaming.
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere because the news never stops.
For the record, your name is Xavier Collins.
Yes.
You have 2 children.
Yes.
When was the last time you saw Cal Bradford alive?
Agent Collins, have a seat.
I walked the president to his room at 22:04.
When did you discover the body?
At 8:01, that's when I found him lying next to his bed.
Did you kill him?
No.
Is a part of you happy that Cal is dead?
I only have one rule. Stay out of the basement.
What do you got in the basement?
I can't talk about it quite yet.
There's something down there that will destroy the world.
We're talking about a monster, a real monster.
You are in danger. Kids are disappearing.
To find our way home.
I'll get you home.
Got a crew of murderous bounty hunters. He's coming after us. We have to move fast.
We have no idea who he is.
You can trust me.
You're a Jedi, right?
Of course.
What just happened?
Watch this.
Skeleton Crew. New episodes Tuesdays, only on Disney+.
The world is on the brink of war.
You need Captain America.
Who you think they talk about?
On my mark.
You want me? Come and get me!
Get tickets now. Donald Trump, historic, taking the oath of office for the second time. Inauguration Day, America turns to ABC News, starting with a special Good Morning America. Then live all across the day, David Muir, right there as history is made. Monday on ABC.
Reporting from Dallas, Texas on Election Day, I'm John Quinones. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back, everyone. The American Cancer Society released its annual statistics highlighting interesting trends regarding who's being diagnosed and who is dying from cancer today. Those facts and figures are tonight's By the Numbers. This year, an estimated 2 million new cancer diagnoses will be made in the U.S. After all, there's a 39% probability of being diagnosed with an invasive cancer at some point in your lifetime. But the good news is that the death rate from cancer fell by 34% between 1991 and 2022, averting getting this nearly 4.5 million deaths in that period, thanks to earlier detection, improved treatment, and fewer people smoking. Speaking of fewer people smoking, the red lines on these charts show how lung and bronchial cancers have plummeted 61% for men and 38% for women from their peaks. The fresh data also points to some trends. Cancer diagnoses for women under the age of 50 now 82% higher than their male counterparts, up from just 51% in 2002. And alarming inequalities in cancer mortality rates persist. Black people are twice as likely compared to white people to die from prostate, stomach, and non-cervical uterine cancers. And Native American people are 2 to 3 times as likely compared to white people to die from kidney, liver, stomach, and cervical cancers. And we still have much more ahead here on Prime tonight. Actress Pauline Chalamet is here from the sex lives of college girls, what to expect from the remainder of its 3rd season, and celebrity legal battles, including why former talk show host Wendy Williams says she's now being held hostage by her legal guardian.
Trump, historic, taking the oath of office for the second time. Inauguration Day, America turns to ABC News, starting with a special Good Morning America. Then live all across the day, David Muir, right there as history is made. Monday on ABC. The news never stops.
From Tampa, we are here tonight as Hurricane Milton has just made landfall.
The surge just keeps coming up.
Right on the border between Ukraine and Russia. We're in artillery position about 2 miles away from Gaza.
And ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
We're not far from where this rally took place, so just stick with us here.
Traveling with the president to the U.S.-Mexico border. Here in London today, off the coast of Gaza.
Downtown Tel Aviv, rockets or missiles coming in. From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii. Some areas are still smoldering.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines, the ruins of Rafah.
From the FBI. Reporting from Capitol Hill. In western Portugal.
Outside of Mexico City.
In Iceland. Let's go.
Here in France.
The eclipse across America.
Just stunning.
Unbelievable.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is,
We're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere because the news never stops.
This family is suffocating. We are all here to help them. We're going to make this happen. We have 96 hours to build a house.
Come on, guys, it's moving day. Let's go. It can't be real.
This was more than just extreme home makeover. This was extreme life makeover.
Extreme Makeover Home Edition, Thursday on ABC and stream on Hulu.
What don't you know about the man
Rex Heuermann was living a very compartmentalized double life.
accused of being
a monster? It's like 2 different people. Jekyll and Hyde is a real monster.
He's pleaded not guilty to all the charges.
the Gilgo Beach murders? Now, one woman who believes she got away and lived to tell.
He scared the crap out of me, and nobody's ever made me scared or uncomfortable like that.
Gilgo Beach Murders, now streaming on Hulu.
I'm 110% ready to fall in love.
Tall, handsome, smart. He's perfect.
Time just stood still. It's kind of already sinking in that these other girls are dating my boyfriend.
Everybody just really wants Grant, and we're all fighting for his love.
You act like you don't care.
He knows how I feel.
I know I'm in trouble.
Everyone's so mean.
I did not know how hard this was gonna be.
The world
is on the brink of war. We need Captain America.
Who you think they talk about?
On my mark.
You want me? Come and get me!
Get tickets now.
The brazen carjacking caught on camera. A woman's car stolen while she was just 25 feet away. A police officer's quick thinking saves a newborn baby's life. And just in time for flu season, Progresso announces soup-flavored cough drops. These stories and more in tonight's rundown.
Surveillance video captured a carjacking in a Kansas City neighborhood. The video shows a woman walking a dog just 25 feet from her car on Monday when a white sedan pulls up and a suspect gets into the car and starts to drive away. The woman jumps on the hood of her car to try to stop it. Police said the woman was taken to the hospital with minor injuries and the investigation is ongoing. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau announced punishments against Block, which operates Cash App, over security issues and fraud complaints on the app. Block will pay $175 million in customer refunds and penalties and fix issues ranging from a lack of customer service to their refusal to reverse unauthorized charges. Block said it disagreed with what it called mischaracterizations from the Bureau, but agreed to settle to put it behind them. Visitors are flocking to Hawaii's Volcanoes National Park to catch a glimpse of lava fountaining from the Kilauea volcano. Eruptions have been active off and on since December. The Hawaiian Volcano Observatory said the fountain has reached about 200 feet high and counting. Baseball broadcasting icon Bob Uecker has died at the age of 90. After a short playing career, he spent 54 years as the revered voice of the Milwaukee Brewers. He also found fame as an actor, including in Major League with a famous description of Charlie Sheen's pitching.
Just a bit outside.
Uecker was honored with the Baseball Hall of Fame's Ford C. Frick Award in 2003, where he explained where his priorities always were.
No matter what else I ever did, baseball was the only way I wanted to go.
Let me see him. Please, 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 please.
Dramatic body camera video shows a New Jersey officer and medic helping save the life of an unresponsive newborn baby. The Middle Township officer performed CPR on the 1-week-old girl in late November. Police said she was blue and cold to the touch. After the officer helped her regain consciousness, medics took over and she was taken to a local hospital for further evaluation. Just in time for flu season, comforting soup you can eat on the go, Progresso has announced the launch of Soup Drops, a chicken noodle soup-flavored hard candy packaged individually inside a can. The limited edition drops can be ordered online, though they're already sold out this week and only available for the rest of January, which is fittingly National Soup Month.
Former Mayor New York Rudy Giuliani has reached a settlement with 2 Georgia poll workers he repeatedly and falsely defamed moments before he was set to testify. A judge ruled that he owed Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss $148 million for baselessly accusing them of helping to steal the 2020 election for Joe Biden. Authorities say that was not true. Giuliani gets to keep his Florida condo, New York City apartment, World Series rings, and this luxury convertible. We don't see it there, right there. But tonight, in a statement, the mother and daughter are calling this settlement with Giuliani a major milestone that will let them move forward with their lives. There's now a major lawsuit from actor Justin Baldoni against actress Blake Lively, the latest in legal battles between the two. But first, former radio and TV host Wendy Williams called into the popular radio show program The Breakfast Club to talk about being in a conservatorship, claiming visitors are restricted as well as communication with family. She's rarely allowed to leave a wellness facility that she's living in. Listen to what she had to say.
I feel like I'm in prison. I am definitely isolated, but I keep the door closed. I watch TV, you know what I'm saying? I listen to radio, you know, and I watch the window, you know, and I sit here as my life goes by.
ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer joins us now. So, Brian, give us a sense. What type of conservatorship is Wendy in?
because it is sealed. I can probably rule out that it's not a guardianship of a child, but more likely than not, it's a guardianship based on the needs of the individual, that a court-appointed guardian to help Wendy Williams with her finances.
Do you think that public appearances are helping or hurting her attempt to be released?
So it really depends on the court of public opinion's view on what these appearances are doing. I think for this one that we've seen recently, it is helping. We know that in November of 2024, her guardian said, almost quote, that she is cognitively impaired and permanently disabled and incapacitated. Those words would lead an individual to believe that Wendy Williams should be on a conservatorship forever. So I think Wendy Williams coming out in the public and speaking in the way that she did kind of pushes back on that narrative and hopefully will help with the future evaluation of her conservatorship and incapacitation to try to relieve or get out of some of the restrictions in the guardianship.
But how difficult is it to get out of a conservatorship? Could she be in it potentially for the rest of her life?
So you're not meant to stay on these guardianships or conservatorships for the rest of your life. Oftentimes they're used for elderly parents or adults, and sometimes a person gets off of the guardianship or conservatorship because they pass, but it's meant to get a person back to a place where they can deal with their own health decisions and their own financial decisions, and that's why there's annual or sometimes biannual evaluations of an individual.
Now let's turn to It Ends With Us. Co-stars Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. Lively filed a suit against Baldoni a few weeks ago alleging retaliation and sexual harassment. Today, Baldoni filed a $400 million suit against Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds. What's his claim here?
Yeah, so Baldoni is making allegations against, as you said, Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, as well as others in her PR firm, basically saying that he was extorted, there was defamation, a loss of potential profits, both negligently and intentionally, and a slew of other allegations. In essence, saying that the smear campaign that Lively said that he and his PR campaign levied against her, that in fact she is the one that is making a smear campaign, and that those snippets of text messages are not held in the proper context. And in his complaint, he actually puts those text messages in their full context and says, this is what was going on. It was Lively who was trying to take away the reins of this production, not the sexual assault allegations that she is making up, according to his allegations.
So looking at the claims made in both cases, do you think that there's likely going to be a settlement, or do you think these are actually going to go to court?
Yeah, so when I look at claims like this, where you're taking a text message, for example, and either side are arguing the interpretation of those words, I don't see there being a meeting of the minds when you're looking at such high numbers for these lawsuits and the contention between these individuals. It's not just money, it's about reputation. So I can see this, I mean, I almost say it jokingly, would be the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard of 2025, a high-profile case where individuals are bearing all for the world to see who is right and who is wrong.
Good analogy there. All right, Brian Buckmeyer, our thanks to you as always.
My pleasure.
In our latest installment of our segment, Streamlined, balancing school, the social scene, and complicated friendships and relationships, all on a very tight budget. The college experience can be treacherous. In Max's hit series, The Sex Lives of College Girls, actress Pauline Chalamet takes us for yet another wild ride alongside her spontaneous girl gang. Let's take a look.
Never waste a Friday night on a first date, but there I was, in my heels with my hair straight.
I've chosen courses that should lead to becoming a Supreme Court justice by the age of 53.
Are you wearing the thing they sell Asian pears in?
Oh, not exactly.
A wild ride for sure. Pauline Chalamet, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm so happy to be here.
So give us a sense of your character. This is the third season you're playing Kimberly Finkel. How much of her college experience is based on your own?
Well, I think that we have very different college experiences. I say that these girls are really good at partying. Like, they want to go out all the time. I don't really think I wanted to go out all the time. But so I think in like a social aspect, she's really way more open than I was. However, I think we are quite aligned on an academic level. I thought it was going to be very fun, and it is very fun to play a character who cares about school while she's in college, and I very much was like that as well.
Well, she starts out a bit naive, but big-hearted. Do you feel like there has been an evolution of growth here?
I I don't think there's been that much of an evolution. I think she's still quite naive. I think she's maybe starting to learn how to like hone her energy in a more constructive way, but she still is gullible. So maybe she's a little less naive, but she still is gullible.
As many of us are.
Absolutely.
I think when we first started,
Yeah.
17, 18, experiencing the world for the first time on our own, for the most part. Is there a character who you most identify with on the show?
You know, I really think that I identify with a mix of these characters. There's a lot in Bella that I don't even know if I identify with, but I just love. I think she's so like witty and quick, and Amrit does such a good job of just kind of playing with just her very fast thinking brain. And I think, yeah, I'm probably not much like that, but I wish I was.
And congratulations, you're a new mom, of
Thank
course.
you.
And so you were actually pregnant while you were filming this. How did you disguise that?
I was. Well, we have a great camera team, and we have a great costume department, and we have a very supportive Mindy Kaling and Justin Noble. And they just really were very creative. You know, I'm not the first person to have been pregnant on a show. And they just, you know, did a very good job hiding it behind sets, and then I wear a lot of like big sweaters. And it was a very interesting experience to kind of go back and forth between the reality of, you know, being pregnant and then just being 19 years old.
Yeah, you have us all fooled for sure. And you easily could be 19, which is great. Yeah, quite a compliment there. I think really a lot of the cast looks very young. I mean, it's not a stretch to imagine that you all are college students. But now that you are a mom, I know you're taking a beat for a little bit, but anything we can expect on the horizon from this character or beyond?
Oh my goodness. Well, I think the most recent thing I have is a fashion film coming out for the brand Patou. And that is coming out next week, I think.
Oh, very exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're staying busy.
I am staying busy, yeah.
And of course, being a mom of a 4-month-old keeps you on your toes.
On my toes, yeah, exactly.
As well. All right, Pauline, we thank you so
you.
much for coming on the show. You can stream The Sex Lives of College Girls on Max with new episodes coming out on Thursdays. And that is our show for this hour. I'm Linsey Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Coming up in the next hour, a fragile ceasefire deal is on the horizon in Gaza as families of hostages demand their governments seal the deal. And allies in a shadow war inside the CIA's partnership with Ukraine as they defend against the Russian invasion.
For the record, your name is Xavier Collins.
Yes.
You have 2 children.
Yes.
When was the last time you saw Cal Bradford alive?
Agent Collins, have a seat.
I walked the president to his room at 2204.
When did you discover the body?
At 8:01, that's when I found him lying next to his bed.
Did you kill him?
No.
Is a part of you happy that Cal is dead?
This family is suffocated. We are all here to help them. We're gonna make this happen. We have 96 hours to build a house.
Come on, guys, it's moving day. Let's go. It can't be real.
This was more than just extreme home makeover. This was extreme life makeover.
Extreme Makeover Home Edition, Thursday on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Hey, good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Are you ready? They are ready. Covering the biggest events in the country right now.
There's a lot going on here this morning.
You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'll be here.
I am here and so happy. I'm in. I'm in too.
Michael, George, Clara, Ginger.
All we want is to find our way home.
I'll get you home. But a crew of murderous bounty hunters is coming after us. We have to move fast.
We have no idea who he is.
You can trust me.
You're a Jedi, right?
Of course.
What just happened?
Watch this. Skeleton Crew. New episodes Tuesdays, only on Disney+.
The news never stops. We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
We appeared to be gunfire. The former president rushed off the stage.
Hurricane Helene ravaging the coastline of Florida.
It's moving really fast, screaming across the state.
And that's why ABC News Live never stops.
Taking you to the center of the story. As news breaks live.
We hear the small arms fire around us. We're right on the border between Ukraine and Russia.
ABC News Live is there for you at the start of your day all morning live.
ABC News Live, right there, as events unfold across the day. ABC News Live, breaking down the day's top stories.
Lyle and Eric Menendez, there is new evidence in this case.
ABC News Live Prime going there, wherever the story is.
Are you going to build it back up? And ABC News Live, lighting up the weekends.
With breaking news and all the latest pop headlines.
Happy Oscar Sunday.
A lot to watch for tonight.
ABC News Live.
Because the news never stops.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Linsey Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We begin tonight with the last-minute negotiations over that fragile Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal, with the fate of the hostages and food to feed 1 million Gazans now hanging in the balance, and the strong emotion on both sides tonight. In Gaza, people like 22-year-old Tala, who we've followed for 15 months here at ABC News Live, is happy and hopeful for the first time in a long time. But today, Israeli strikes continued. More than 80 Palestinians were reportedly killed. And in Israel, those hostage families are tentatively optimistic after this long and incredibly painful ordeal. Those families are demanding that their governments finalize the deal. And the State Department today, Secretary of State Antony Blinken is insisting this deal will go through. Our chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell leads us off tonight from Tel Aviv.
Tonight, the U.S. insisting the fragile ceasefire hostage deal will start as planned on Sunday, despite intense infighting inside the Israeli government.
After more than 400 days of struggle, a day of success has arrived.
After a tense day of last-minute negotiations, the Israeli cabinet expected to vote on the deal as soon as tomorrow. Inside Gaza, the bombing hasn't stopped. More than 80 Palestinians killed in Israeli strikes since the deal was announced, according to the Gaza Health Ministry. The Biden administration criticised by some for its support of Israel's war. At the State Department today, a rare moment of protest.
Get your hands off me. Get your hands off me.
As outgoing Secretary of State Antony Blinken was thanking the press. Security dragging an independent reporter and activist out of the briefing room.
Criminal, why aren't you in the Hague? Why aren't you in the Hague?
The anger also coming from families of Israeli hostages.
Every night for 467 days, people have come here to protest against the Netanyahu government. Tonight, the chance is very simple. Bring them home and sign the deal.
Phase 1 of the agreement will see the release of 33 hostages, including Americans Sagi Dekelchen and Keith Siegel, in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. Keith and his wife Aviva kidnapped by Hamas on October 7th. Aviva was freed more than a year ago. Now Keith's brother Lee anxiously awaiting his return.
I can't allow myself to raise expectations until I'm giving Keith a hug.
For many Gazans, like Tala Imad Herdzala, hope.
After a year and 3 months of pain, of suffering, of death and blood, it's time to say this is the end.
So many hopeful this is the end. Our thanks to Ian Pannell for that. The race is on to contain those deadly and destructive wildfires in Southern California before dangerous wind returns again next week. New aerial images show the destruction as the death toll now climbs to 27. And now a new risk from the water used to douse the flames. A home that survived the fires was actually destroyed today by a landslide. ABC's chief national correspondent Matt Gutman reports from Southern California.
Tonight across Southern California, a brief break in the fire conditions that have plagued the region for more than a week now, giving battered firefighters and communities a chance to catch their breath. But now a new danger looming This home in Pacific Palisades survived the fires last week, only to be crushed by a landslide this morning.
If you look right above it, you're going to see a lot of smoldering debris and things that have burned.
Stuff is like quicksand.
At the Eaton fire, we saw how the flames had baked hard-packed earth into sand. The flames have burned so much vegetation, they're now preparing for near certain mudslides when the rains finally come. And today, officials reopening some of the areas of the Palisades fire for residents, but said it could be more than a week before all the areas are deemed safe for families to return to survey what's left of their homes.
You got to understand, if you haven't been out there, it literally looks like a bomb dropped.
Some have made it back. In the rubble of our Altadena home, we hear Linda Zhang
Nico, if I can even find this tag.
calling for her lost cat.
It's the first time I'm seeing everything is gone. That's my new washer and dryer that I just bought.
Linda staying at an Airbnb for now, but struggling to find her next home.
I already got rejected.
Unsure of what comes next, but grateful for the city's generosity.
So is everything you're wearing donated?
Yes, everything I'm wearing except my phone is donated.
Down to the purse and the shoes?
Down to the purse and the shoes, yeah, everything.
And while so many have lost so much, many here are also celebrating those first responders. Bruce Willis's wife, Emma Hemming, posting this video of Bruce shaking hands and thanking LA police officers, a rare public appearance for the Hollywood icon since his dementia diagnosis.
First responders certainly to be commended. Our thanks to Matt for that. On Capitol Hill today, President-elect Trump's pick to oversee America's economy, billionaire Scott Bessent, was pressed by senators about the president-elect's plan to boost the economy with tax cuts and tariffs. Our senior congressional correspondent, Rachel Scott, reports from the Hill.
Tonight, the man President-elect Donald Trump has chosen to guide the American economy and tackle inflation, taking center stage on Capitol Hill. Treasury Secretary nominee Scott Bessent, a billionaire investor and hedge fund manager.
Today, I believe that President Trump has a generational opportunity to unleash a new economic golden age that will create more jobs, wealth, and prosperity for all Americans.
Republican senators asking Bessent to outline the stakes if Congress fails to achieve one of Trump's top priorities, extending his signature 2017 tax cuts.
If we do not renew and extend, then we will be facing an economic calamity.
Democrats pushing back, insisting the Trump tax cuts have only benefited the rich.
Now these wealthy people have more money than they know what to do with, and it is certainly not doing anything to lower prices for working families.
I believe that President Trump, and if confirmed myself, are committed to addressing this affordability crisis. And part of the affordability crisis stems from this great inflation that we've had.
Also facing questions today, Trump's picks for two key environmental roles. For Secretary of the Interior, former North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, and for EPA Administrator, former New York Congressman Lee Zeldin. Democrats pressing both nominees about Trump's pledge to roll back environmental regulations.
Do you agree with President-elect Trump that climate change is a hoax?
I believe that climate change is real, as I told you. As far as President Trump goes, the context that I've heard him speak about it was with a criticism of policies that have been acted because of climate change, and I think that he's concerned about the economic costs of some policies where there's a debate.
Republicans insist these nominees strike a balance between protecting the environment and the economy.
Congressman Zeldin will correct the course of the EPA.
Our thanks to Rachel Scott. Tonight on Prime, the remarkable story of how the CIA and Ukrainian intelligence forged a deep secret partnership that began a decade ago and has been crucial in helping Ukraine defend itself against Russia's invasion. It has also given the U.S. extraordinary insight into Russia. ABC's Patrick Reevell spoke with former U.S. and Ukrainian officials who told him how the CIA and Ukraine became allies in a shadow war.
These men are new recruits to Ukraine's military intelligence service. Known by its acronym KUR, the service's soldiers are now considered to be some of Ukraine's most daring and elite. It's no secret the United States has been helping Ukraine defend itself in its war with Russia. But alongside the raging conventional fighting, there is a story of a different war that is much less well known, a shadow war.
What kind of training did the CIA provide to Ukrainian intelligence?
It's better to say the best one.
Lieutenant General Valery Kondratyuk is a former senior Ukrainian intelligence officer.
Take a seat.
He's at the center of this story. How over the last decade, the CIA helped remake Ukraine's intelligence services.
І от хочу сказати, що певний момент, певний час ГУР став. Головне управління розвідки Міністерства оборони стало головним партнером Центрального розвідувального управління Сполучених Штатів. Головним. Більше, ніж Великобританія.
They went from being zero to one of our most important partners up in the realm of the Brits.
Kondratyuk led HUR from 2015 to 2016. His account was confirmed by former US officials. They didn't want to appear on camera. The figures you see are actors. The voices are theirs, but disguised.
It was groundbreaking how we rebuilt that service. And, you know, the payoff came in the early days of the war, and the HUR special operations guys were able to, you know, hit the Russians hard and hit them in ways that they didn't expect. And that was a result of, you know, the years of investment from the agency.
The CIA and Ukrainian intelligence have forged a remarkable partnership, transforming what was once a Cold War enemy into a key American ally.
Their access was so significant. Here was the best friend of the Russians for many, many years. They knew things we just frankly had no idea of.
The story begins back in 2014. Amidst Ukraine's Maidan revolution, months of mass protests against Ukraine's Russian-backed president had driven him from power. The country's new pro-Western government appointed Valentin Nalyvaichenko as the new head of Ukraine's domestic intelligence service, the SBU. Amid the chaos, he arrived at his new office.
I was absolutely shocked when I entered the absolutely empty premises of SBU here in the center of the city. Predecessor fled to Crimea, his first deputy fled to Russia. It was totally compromised and destroyed. That was, for me, unimaginable.
Nalyvaichenko says that very night he called to the US and British embassies. That was the beginning.
We could feel a palpable change on the Ukrainian side, and then there were those of us on the agency side are like, hey, this is something to exploit. We need to change with it. Let's exploit that. Let's help, you know, the Ukrainians be Ukrainians.
But the US was initially cautious, worried that Ukrainian intelligence was still penetrated by Russia. To convince the Americans of Ukraine's value, Kondratyuk flew to Washington with a suitcase packed with top-secret Russian documents.
I was like, holy and he's like, yes, we have a gift. I was like, well, that is going to be a great gift. He decided that the West is our future. And so he essentially started opening the files and showing us and the other services, hey, this is what we have to offer. This is what this is our capabilities on Russia. And, you know, as this stuff adds up and as it checks out, people are going like, man, this is legit, you know.
The Ukrainians gave the US a remarkable view into Russia's military, insight into Russian capabilities, technology, decision-making.
This is something an American Congress needs to know. What they have done as a service and what Valery has done personally has saved the U.S. taxpayer hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe even billions of dollars. Is he's provided information that we never had access to that is going to inform how we make decisions in wartime. Heaven forbid we ever had to go to war. In the end of the day, we needed Ukrainians as much as they needed us on Russia.
After that, things accelerated. The CIA began providing millions of dollars in funding, training, and equipment, alongside Britain's MI6 intelligence service.
Secure communications, radiograft, you know, just basic street stuff, right? Just basic stuff. Because these guys heretofore had been, you know, trained using the old, you know, Soviet and Russian intelligence methods. And so we were, you know, imparting to them Western intelligence tradecrafts.
All our previous school based on the experience from the Soviet Union. But we really need a new approach how to organize the intelligence services of democratic states and countries.
At the center of the training effort was a new elite Ukrainian commando force called Unit 2245. A former officer of the unit, Kirilo Budanov, is now the head of Ukraine's military intelligence. The CIA also eventually helping build a dozen forward operating bases for HUR along the border with Russia. The CIA and Ukraine also launched a program dubbed Operation Goldfish, training Ukrainians to pose as Russians in third countries around the world.
It was very successful at that. It was essentially deploying their officers on our behalf to target, Russians in different places in the world.
But US administrations, from the Obama administration to the Trump and then Biden, always remained worried about provoking Russia. The push to do more always coming from the Ukrainians. Kondratyuk himself lost his job over an operation into Crimea seen as too aggressive by the Obama administration.
We always had to, respect those red lines, but they hated that we had so many red lines.
CIA-trained officers proved to be crucial when Russia launched its full-scale invasion in 2022.
That's a missile!
All these guys were the first line of our defense, which meet Russian in the first day of invasion.
Following the invasion, many restrictions on CIA operations were lifted. Ukrainian officials say without the intelligence support, Ukraine could not have held off Russia. Vladimir Putin has long argued the CIA was controlling Ukraine. Some have criticized the partnership as provoking Putin.
I think some people will ask, did this cooperation between the CIA and Ukraine provoke Putin into launching his invasion?
І це якраз та є російська пропаганда, маніпуляція для того, щоб якось виправдати це нелюдське, жахливе вторгнення в іншу країну. Наша співпраця, вона не спровокувала. Вона лише посилила наші можливості щодо спротиву, сьогоднішньому спротиву російській агресії.
We had only, as well as now, two options. First, to be in Russia, being dissolved, occupied with KGB back, and the other option, to become a democratic country with democratic special services and protecting people, independence, sovereignty, and human rights. We made our choice.
A great honor to have you.
With Donald Trump about to enter the presidency, all sides are now preparing for peace talks in Ukraine.
Enough!
It raises so many questions about how the war will end and what it will mean for the partnership with the CIA.
Our thanks to Patrick Reevell for that in-depth report. Still much more to get to tonight. The U.S. imposes sanctions against Sudan's military leader in response to a devastating war that has caused widespread famine. And 88-year-old Pope Francis takes another fall. A report on his health next. Stay with us.
Donald Trump, historic, taking the oath of office for the second time. Inauguration Day, America turns to ABC News, starting with a special Good Morning America. Then live all across the day, David Muir, right there as history is made. Monday on ABC. What don't you know about the man
Rex Heuermann was living a very compartmentalized double life.
accused of being
The monster. It's like two different people. Jekyll and Hyde is a real monster.
He's pleaded not guilty to all the charges.
the Gilgo Beach murders? Now, one woman who believes she got away and lived to tell.
He scared the crap out of me, and nobody's ever made me scared or uncomfortable like that.
Gilgo Beach murders, now streaming on Hulu.
For the record, your name is Xavier Collins.
Yes.
You have 2 children.
Yes.
When was the last time you saw Cal Bradford alive?
Agent Collins, want to have a seat?
I walked the president to his room at 22:04.
When did you discover the body?
At 8:01, that's when I found him lying next to his bed.
Did you kill him?
No.
Is a part of you happy that Cal is dead?
You know something serious about to happen. I have an idea.
You guys have eyes on your targets.
Shouldn't we strategize?
Come on, we're gonna improvise. Freestyle.
No. world is on the brink of war. Brigade Captain America.
Who you see they talk about?
On my mark.
You want me? Come and get me!
Get tickets now.
I'm Medea Villarreal in the battleground state of Nevada, covering the election. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. We're tracking several headlines around the world. Secretary of State Antony Blinken today announced sanctions against the leader of the Sudanese armed forces, claiming they've used food deprivation as a tactic of war and leaving 25 million Sudanese to face acute food insecurity. And in a bombshell headline today, the New York Times reported that Sudan's military has used chemical weapons at least twice during the country's civil war, citing senior U.S. officials. Pope Francis took a fall at his home for the second time in recent weeks. The 88-year-old pontiff bruised his right arm but kept right to his schedule, wearing a sling during 5 meetings at the Vatican today. Last month, the Pope bruised his chin after falling during the night and hitting his bedside table. And it was a match for the ages down under at the Australian Open. American Lerner Tien, who just turned 19 years old and had to qualify to even get in the tournament, stunned the #5 seed and 2024 finalist Daniil Medvedev. The nearly 5-hour, 5-set match ended just before 3 a.m. local time. And still to come, actress Marianne Jean-Baptiste just won the New York Film Critics Circle Award for Best Actress for a role in Mike Leigh's film Hard Truths. She's here and explains having to develop her character by improvising.
Is suffocating. We are all here to help them. We're going to make this happen. We have 96 hours to build a house.
Come on, guys, it's moving day. Let's go. It can't be real.
This was more than just extreme home makeover. This was extreme life makeover.
Extreme Makeover Home Edition, Thursday on ABC and stream on Hulu.
The news never stops. We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
We heard what appeared to be gunfire. The former president rushed off the stage.
Hurricane Helene ravaging the coastline of Florida.
It's moving really fast, screaming across the state.
And that's why ABC News Live never stops.
Taking you to the center of the story.
As news breaks live.
We hear the small arms fire around us. We're right on the border between Ukraine and Russia.
ABC News Live is there for you at the start of your day, all morning live. ABC News Live, right there, as events unfold across the day. ABC News Live, breaking down the day's top stories.
Lyle and Eric Menendez, there is new evidence in this case.
ABC News Live Prime going there, wherever the story is. Are you going to build it back up?
And ABC News Live, lighting up the weekends.
With breaking news and all the latest pop headlines.
Happy Oscars Sunday.
A lot to watch for tonight.
ABC News Live.
Because the news never stops.
2025, bring it.
Bring it.
Bring it.
January mornings on GMA.
It is time to start strong in 2025. Let's do it, people.
How you feel, how you look, being happy, really happy. The secrets and tips you want, you need to living your best. Mornings this January on GMA.
Come on, start strong.
Come on, start strong. You're going to own 2025, and we can't wait to help.
Let's do it, people.
Start strong with GMA.
Start strong.
Come on, start strong. Did I finish with this?
An invitation to visit her sister for Mother's Day turns into a deep examination of a woman's pain, fear, and anxieties. The film Hard Truths is a meaningful look at a complicated character and the people around her. Let's take a look.
You can't go in or out of a supermarket without being harassed by those grinning, cheerful charity workers begging you for money for their stupid causes. Why they got to skin their teeth like that? Cheerful, grinning people. Can't stand them.
Joining us now is Marianne Jean-Baptiste, who just won the Best Actress Award from the New York Film Critics Circle for this role. Congratulations and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So, Michael Lee, the director here, he's known for not actually giving a full script, but just a general concept. So how does that work and what drew you to this project?
Well, actually, you don't even get a concept. You know, what draws you to the project is working with Mike and knowing that you're not going to know what it's about, you don't know what your character's going to be, but you're going to collaborate with him to create a character from scratch. and it's going to be very realistic.
And how does that work? Because he's a white British male, right? And he's really able to, in some way, capture the Caribbean, African Caribbean, British community so well. Is that him or is that the characters?
Well, that's the characters, and that's him being open and trusting us to tell that story. You know, he's a very inquisitive person, and he's done things about the Jewish community, he's done stuff in Northern Ireland and Greek culture. So he's somebody who's fascinated by the human condition and human beings and their differences and what brings them all together, what's universal about people.
And so when there's no script and it's improvised, how does that work?
Well, basically, it's the rehearsal process and, you know, you've done all this research. We know every aspect of these characters' lives in finite detail. And so when you go into a situation, you know, like her having dinner with her family, he just starts sort of saying, you know, improvise, and we improvise a bit, and then he'll stop it. And then we'll repeat it and he'll refine it and say, maybe say that there and change that. And you speak and then you know.
Your character, Pansy, doesn't really just seem angry at her husband or just seem angry at her son. She really seems angry at the world, I would say. Where were you able to pull this rage from that we see really in every scene?
Well, the root of that rage is pain. She's somebody who's in a lot of pain, who hasn't processed that pain, and blames the world and everybody else for the way that she's feeling. I mean, I'm sure you've been with people that feel bad and they're not content unless everybody else feels bad along with them. She's one of those.
The old adage of hurt people, right?
That's right.
And was there anyone in particular who you modeled this character after, who you might know in your own life?
My lips are sealed.
All right. I figured we might not be able to get an answer there. Your reaction to the critical acclaim that you're getting for this role?
Oh, it's amazing. It's beautiful, you know. Who doesn't like hearing, well done, you've done a good job? Yeah.
Did you feel, as you were bringing Pansy to life, that this might be the standout role?
No. I mean, it's been an overwhelming surprise and joy to have this reaction that we've had to it. And I mean, more importantly, it's when you do it, you play it for audiences, and afterwards they say, I know that woman. That's my aunt. That's my mother-in-law.
I knew somebody, and my lips are sealed as well. I won't say, but I was thinking you're reminding me of a person in particular. What do you hope that, beyond that, that viewers take away from this?
Compassion, a bit of patience, you know, understanding that behind all of that bluster, somebody's hurting, and to not take that stuff personally.
Anything else? Any other projects you're working on now that you can tell us about?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
Just grinding away at getting people to go to the cinemas and see hard truths.
All right, Marianne, we thank you so much for coming on the show. Want to let our viewers know Hard Truths is now out in select theaters in New York and also Los Angeles. And that is our show for this hour. I'm Linsey Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Have a great night.
The world is on the brink of war. Every day, Captain America. On my mark.
You want me? Come and get me!
Get tickets now.
I only have one rule. Stay out of the basement.
What do you got in the basement?
I can't talk about it quite yet.
There's something down there that will destroy the world.
We're talking about a monster, a real monster.
You are in danger. Kids are disappearing.